Subalbro, can we start?
Yeah, sure. Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavat Pranam, all praise to Shri Prabhupada. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Raja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Raja Jana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Munatira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. So we'll start with the prayers, devotees. Let me share my screen. Okay. Anyone would like to recite the prayers today? Otherwise, I can go ahead.
Kushbu, you want to try? Okay, then I can.
No, this will be a little tough for me. I think it's better if someone else.
Okay, sure. Thank you, Vijay. So, Om Agganatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chukshur Unmritnyana Tasmoi Sri Guruve Namo Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Jana Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamoyam Dadati Sapadantikam Bande Aham Sri Guru Sri Uttapada Kamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavancha Sri Rupam Sagra Jatam Sagana Raghunathannitam Tam Sojivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Purijana Sohitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sagnalita Sri Vishanijancha He Krishna Korna Sindhu Dinobandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanto Radhakanto Namostute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Sri Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Bancha Kalpataru Vaishya Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitang Pavanebho Vaishnava Namo Namo Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Back to Guruji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you, Baldev Prabhu. So, Hare Krishna, devotees. Thank you all for joining today's Bhagavad Gita session. We are reading chapter 13, the nature, the enjoyer, and consciousness, the verse number 8 to 12. So it's combined into one translation by Srila Prabhupada. It's a very beautiful verse. We'll try to recite and then we'll take turns. So there are 4 verses on this together. Maybe we'll see if we can take turns one by one. Someone can read first verse, someone can second, like that. Amanitvam madambitvam ahimsa shantirajjavam acharya upashanam saucham stairyam atma vinigraha indriyarteshu vairagyam anahankara yevacha janma mrityu jara vyadi dukkha doshanudarshanam ashaktirana vishwangaha putradhara grahadishu nityam cha samachittatvam ishtanishtopapatishu मयि चानन्ययोगेन भक्तिरव्याभिचारिणी विविक्तदेशसेवित्वम् आरातिर्जनसंशादि अध्यात्मज्ञाननित्यात्वं तत्त्वज्ञानार्थदर्शनम् एताज्ञानम् इति प्रोक्तम् अज्ञानं यत् अथो अन्यतः. So let's see if each one can take turns to read just one verse, recite one verse, if possible. Yeah.
I can start the first one.
Yeah.
Amanitvam adambitvam ahimsa kshantirachavam acharyopasanam shaucham sthiryam atma vigraha. Thank you, Prabhuji.
I can read the second one, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
इन्द्रियार्थेषु वैराग्यम् अनाहङ्कार एव च जन्म मृत्युर्जरा व्याधि दुःखदोषानुदर्शनम्.
Thank you, Mataji. So anyone
I
would
can
like
read.
to recite? Yeah.
Yeah, I can read the next one. Asaktir anabhishvangah putradara gradadishu nityam cha samakchittatvam istanistapo papatishu. Hare Krishna Bhakti.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare
Anyone
Krishna.
would like? Yes, Mataji.
मयि चन्नन्य योगेन भक्तिर् अव्यभिचारिणी विविक्तदेशसेवित्वम् अराते जनसंसदि.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. Anyone would like to recite the last verse, devotees?
I can try, Prabhuji. Adhatto Gano Nitatang Tatto Ganartha Darshanam Etat Gyanomiti Proktam Agganam Jadato Annatha.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji. So we'll read the translation, synonyms. Anyone would like to read the synonyms?
I can do that, I think.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Amanitvam, humility. Adambitvam, pridelessness. Ahimsa, nonviolence. This one I don't know how to pronounce.
Shanti.
Shanti, okay. Shanti is tolerance. Arjavam, simplicity. Acharya upasanam, approaching a bona fide spiritual master. Socham,
Yes.
cleanliness. Sterium, steadfastness. Atma vinigraha, self-control. Indriya artesu, in the matter of the senses. Varagyam, renunciation. Ananhankara, being without false egoism. Eva, certainly. Ka, also. Janma, of birth. Mrityu, death. Jara, old age. Vyadi, and disease. Dukkha, of the distress. Dosa, the fault. Anudarsanam, observing. Asakti, being without attachment. Anabhisvanga, I don't know how to pronounce this one.
Yeah, Anabhishvangaha.
Anabhishvanga, being without association. Putra, for son. Dara, wife. Graha adisu, home. Nityam, constant. Samachittavam, equilibrium. Ista, the desirable. Anista, and undesirable. Upapatisu, having obtained. Mai, onto me. Ananya yogina, by unalloyed devotional service. Bhakti, devotion. Avya. This one is hard for me.
Avyabhicharini.
Avyabhicharini, without any break. Vivikta, to solitary. Desa, places. Sevitvam, aspiring. Arati, being without attachment. Janya Samasadi, to people in general. Adityama, pertaining to the self. Jnana, in knowledge. Nityavatam, constancy. Tattva jnana, of the knowledge of the truth. Artha, of the object. Darsanam, philosophy. Etat, all this. Jnanam, knowledge. Iti, thus. Proktam, declared. Ajanam, ignorance. Yat, that which. Ata, from this. Anyata, other.
Yeah. Thank you, Krish Prabhu. So, would you also like to read the translation?
Sure. Humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, self-control, renunciation of the objects of sense gratification, absence of false ego, the perception of the evil of birth, death, old age, and disease, detachment, freedom from entanglement with children, wife, home, and the rest, even-mindedness amid pleasant and unpleasant events, constant and unalloyed devotion to me, aspiring to live in a solitary place, detachment from the general mass of people, accepting the importance of self-realization and philosophical search for the absolute truth. All these I declare to be knowledge, and besides this, whatever there may be is ignorance.
Yeah. Thank you, Krish Prabhu. Thank you for reading. Yeah, those are nicely pronounced, except a few things. You're pretty good, actually. So, yeah, let's see. Actually, it's a long purport today, so I'm trying to see how far we can cover and discuss. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, almost 15 to 16 paragraphs. Let's see, we'll read until maybe 8:30, whatever we can cover, and then probably we'll discuss 30 minutes. How does that sound, devotees?
Yeah, Prabhuji, you can take 2 classes tomorrow also.
Okay.
Yeah, it will be continuation, Prabhuji, today and tomorrow.
Okay. Tomorrow, who's taking Prabhuji?
Yeah, you can take Prabhuji tomorrow.
No, whoever is handling, I mean, I can transition.
No, Prabhuji. Yeah, it is any one of us, right? So you can continue tomorrow.
Okay. So we'll start paragraph 1. Anyone would like to volunteer for the paragraph 1?
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Yeah, please, Prabhuji. Yeah.
I will try for Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Abhay Charana Sri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai. Purport. The process of knowledge is sometimes misunderstood by less intelligent men as being the incarnation of the field of activity. But actually, this is the real process of knowledge. If one accepts this process, then the possibility of approaching the absolute truth exists. This is not the interaction of the 24 elements as described before. This actually the means to get out of the entanglement of those elements. The embodied soul is entrapped by the body, which is a casing made of the 24 elements and the process of knowledge as described here is the means to get out of it. Of all descriptions of the process of knowledge, the most important point is the described in the first line of the 11th verse. Mayi Chanya Yogina Bhaktir Prabhuji, please.
Yeah, Avyabhicharini.
Avyabhicharini. The process of knowledge determinates in unalloyed devotional service to the Lord. So, if one does not approach or is not able to approach the transcendental service of the Lord, then the other 19 items are of no particular value. But if one takes to devotional service in full Krishna consciousness, the other 19 items automatically develop within him. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, yasyasti bhaktir bhagavarti akinchana sarvair gunais tara samsate suraha. All the good qualities of knowledge develop in one who has attained the stage of devotional service. The principle of accepting a spiritual master, as mentioned in the 8th verse, is essential even for one who takes to devotional service. It is most important. Transcendental life begins when one accepts a bona fide spiritual master, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, clearly states here that this process of knowledge is actual path. Anything speculated beyond this is nonsense. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji. Let's see if we can at least cover 2-3 paragraphs and we can discuss. Anyone would like to read the second paragraph, devotees?
I can read for you.
Yeah, it's Prabhuji.
As for the knowledge outlined here, the items may be analyzed as follows. Humility means that one should not be anxious to have the satisfaction of being honored by others. The material conception of life makes us very eager to receive honor from others. But from the point of view of a man in perfect knowledge, who knows that he is not this body, anything, honor or dishonor, pertaining to this body is useless. One should not be hankering after this material deception. People are very anxious to be famous for their religion, and consequently, sometimes it is found that without understanding the principles of religion, one enters into some group which is not actually following religious principles and then wants to advertise himself as a religious mentor. As for actual advancement in spiritual science, one should have a test to see how far he is progressing. He can judge by these items. Should I continue?
Yeah, it's Prabhuji. Yeah.
Okay. Non-violence is generally taken to mean not killing or destroying the body, but actually non-violence means not to put others into distress. People in general are trapped by ignorance in the material concept of life, and they perpetually suffer from material pains. So unless one elevates people to spiritual knowledge, one is practicing violence. One should try his best to distribute real knowledge to the people so that they may become enlightened and leave this material entanglement. That is nonviolence. Tolerance means that one should be practiced to bear insult and dishonor from others. If one is engaged in the advancement of spiritual knowledge, there will be so many insults and much dishonor from others. That this is expected because material nature is so constituted. Even a boy like Prahlada, who only 5 years old was engaged in the cultivation of spiritual knowledge, was endangered when his father became antagonistic to his devotion. The father tried to kill him in so many ways, but Prahlad tolerated him. So there may be many impediments to making advancement in spiritual knowledge, but we should be tolerant and continue our progress with determination.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. Let's see if someone can read simplicity and cleanliness. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I can read.
Yes, ma'am.
Simplicity means that without diplomacy, one should be so straightforward that he can disclose the real truth even to an enemy. As for acceptance of the spiritual master, that is essential because without the instruction of a bona fide spiritual master, one cannot progress in the spiritual science. One should approach the spiritual master with all humility and offer him all services so that he will be pleased to bestow his blessings upon the disciple. Because a bona fide spiritual master is a representative of Krishna, if he bestows any blessings upon his disciple, that will make the disciple immediately advanced without the disciples following the regulative principles. Or the regulative principles will be easier for one who has served the spiritual master without reservation. Cleanliness is essential for making advancement in spiritual life. There are two kinds of cleanliness, external and internal. External cleanliness means taking a bath, but for internal cleanliness, one has to think of Krishna always and chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. This process cleans the accumulated dust of past karma from the mind. Back to Prabhu, if anyone wants to read.
Thank you, Mataji. So I think we can maybe read one more paragraph and then we can start discussing. Steadiness. Anyone would like to read this last paragraph?
Hare Krishna. Steadiness means that one should be very determined to make progress in spiritual life. Without such determination, one cannot make tangible progress. And self control means that one should not accept anything which is detrimental to the path of spiritual progress. One should become accustomed to this and reject anything which is against the path of spiritual progress. This is real renunciation. The senses are so strong that they are always anxious to have sense gratification. One should not cater to these demands which are not necessary. The senses should only be gratified to keep the body fit so that one can discharge his duty in advancing in spiritual life. The most important and uncontrollable sense is the tongue. If one can control the tongue, then there is every possibility of controlling the other senses. The function of the tongue is to taste and to vibrate. Therefore, by systematic regulation, the tongue should always be engaged in tasting the remnants of foodstuff offered to Krishna and chanting Hare Krishna. As far as the eyes are concerned, they should not be allowed to see anything but the beautiful form of Krishna. That will control the eyes. Similarly, the ears should be engaged in hearing about Krishna and the nose in smelling the flowers offered to Krishna. This is the process of devotional service. And it is understood here that Bhagavad Gita is simply expounding the science of devotional service. Devotional service is the main and sole objective. Unintelligent commentators on the Bhagavad Gita try to divert the mind of the reader to other subjects. But there is no other subject in Bhagavad Gita than devotional service. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Preeti Mataji. Anything you would like to share, Mataji?
Like questions or like
Yeah, we can discuss later on, maybe. So I'll share some of the thoughts and then we can discuss the questions later on, Mataji. You have a question? That's what you said?
no, you asked me like something to share,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, anything you would like to share based on what you read?
Uh, so we have like tongue, I mean our senses like tongue, ears, eyes. So these all things also, like at the end it should be like devoted to Krishna. Like the tongue needs to be the first that has to be in control, and we have to chant Hare Krishna, and the eyes that should be like seeing Krishna, and ears for like hearing about Krishna. And this is the purest form of giving like, I mean, the greatest thing that we can do in the world is like devotional service. And even before that I understood in a way like I should have a bona fide a spiritual master, which is also like can be considered as a form of a Krishna. Through them I can like even get into more advanced way.
Yes, thank you for sharing, Mataji. So Guru is a representative of Krishna, so who is an external manifestation or representation of Krishna, who is also instructing about Krishna. So from that perspective, he is not different from a tattva perspective. Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Mataji. So we'll just go through these qualities in a brief way, and then we'll have some discussion, devotees. So this chapter, so Krishna is giving so much jnana, so much knowledge, and this starting from this verse 8 to 12, he is describing a series of qualities. What is considered basically a jnana, and anything other than this, Krishna is basically saying ajnana means ignorance. So it's very clear definition from absolute perspective. A lot of times when we define, we are not able to define in an absolute way, but when Krishna defines, he just defines, okay, this is it, nothing else. So because he's Lord, he knows everything, so he can actually say it. So in this chapter, like this whole chapter starts with Arjuna asking several questions about nature, who is the enjoyer, what is the field of activities, object of knowledge. So he also asks two questions: what is knowledge, and what is the object of knowledge? Right. So now Krishna is explaining basically what is really knowledge. So in this verse, he's saying all of these are considered knowledge, and then besides this, whatever may be, it is all ignorance. So he's answering that exactly one question that Arjuna asked, what is knowledge? Krishna is replying in this particular verse. So I mean, it's a lot of qualities, Krishna is defining. I know it is overwhelming to hear even all of these wonderful qualities, but everything is connected. We don't have to feel overwhelmed by seeing just so much that we are actually have to do. But everything starts with this one quality, right? So just like if you look at a train is pulled, by an engine. There are so many carts behind. So every cart just follows the engine, just as if there is a symphony. So sometimes people wonder how is it happening, but it's all being carried out by that one engine power. Everything, all the carts are being carried. Sometimes trains are so long that we can, get even. It's very astonishing to see so many carts are being pulled by that one engine. So similarly, all of these wonderful qualities is basically pulled by one important quality, which Prabhupada just focuses on the first chapter itself. So that's that one quality is so important that if we can develop that quality, then gradually all the other qualities will manifest. So what is that quality? Prabhupada mentions, Mai cha ananya yogena bhaktir avyabhicharini. So Mai means, in this case, Mai means Krishna is speaking. So he says, me, ananya yogena, unalloyed devotional service. So Mai cha ananya yogena bhakti avyabhicharini means bhakti is devotion, and avya abhicharini means without any breaks or without any deviation, without like constantly thinking about Krishna or constantly devoted towards Krishna. That one quality, if you have that one quality, if you can develop in your life, then gradually humility will come, pridelessness will come, non-violence will come, tolerance will come, simplicity will come. There are so many stories, so many historical stories in Srimad Bhagavatam that actually validates this point. So there was one story where Narada Muni finds out in the forest there was one hunter, and his name was Mrugari. Mruga Ari means the enemy of Murugas, enemy of animals. So his father has taught him this hunting, that he taught him in such a way to hunt animals without killing them, but to cause so much pain. So whenever he puts arrows, he puts in such a way that the animal doesn't die. It just suffers for so many hours and then it dies. So that time when Narada Muni witnesses this particular scene of this Mrugari killing so many animals, but he doesn't kill them. So he is so compassionate. He is seeing, okay, this person is so much suffering is going to cause in the future. Let me see if I can actually talk to him and see if I can guide him a little bit. So Narada Muni was compassionate. He was talking to him. And when Mrugari spoke, he said, I don't know anything about sin. What are you talking about? I don't know what you're saying. Is if I kill the animals like this, there will be sin. I have to suffer. I don't know all of this. What should I do? Then he says, instead of killing the animals, half killed, at least you kill them completely. At least you don't incur so much sins. And then later on, Mrugari was understood that there is sin. Then he tried to encourage him that, why are you doing this work? You better can actually do something else. Then he says, I don't know anything else. I know only hunting. Then Narada Muni says, okay, then I can teach you some mantras. You chant these mantras, you sit by the riverside, and naturally Krishna will make sure that you get supplied with all the necessities of whatever you need. So the whole village got to know that this Mrugari, who is a hunter, turned into a devotee who was chanting on the river. So everybody came to see him, and they brought some gifts. Somebody brought grain, somebody brought vegetables, somebody brought fruits. So naturally, all of his needs were satisfied. Eventually, when he started chanting, so he became a devotee, and then later on, he became such elevated devotee that he was hesitant to even step on the ants. So we can understand the transformation from killing the animals half-dead to a person who is hesitant even to step on the ant trails. Such a transformation, right? So this transformation happened only because he was chanting the mantra that Narada Muni gave, and he was getting into that thoughts of Krishna. He was basically getting into the transcendental state where he can have a consciousness which is where he can connect with Krishna, connect with Supreme Lord. So because of that, he was able to transform, and by that transformation, he became non-violent, he became humble, he became tolerant. So all the wonderful qualities manifested from him. So similarly, if one can actually take to the service of the Lord and become a very steadfast devotee, Ananya Yogena, like unalloyed devotee of the Lord, Sri Krishna Vishnu, then one can manifest all the wonderful qualities of demigods. There was one particular verse in Srimad Bhagavatam that also quantifies. This was from the 5th canto, 18th chapter and 12th verse. So in this chapter, the verse goes like this. Yashyasti bhaktir bhagavati yakinchana sarvai gunair tatra samashate suraha. Haro abhaktasya kuto mahadguna manoratena hasati dhavato bahi. So in this verse, what is said is, so all the demigods like Devatas, like Indra, Chandra, Varuna, they all have exalted qualities. And like they have such, they are devoted to Lord Vishnu, they know knowledge and they have renunciation. So all of these qualities can manifest for one who is a Bhagavati Akinchana, one who is unalloyed devotee without any motivation, one who is devoted to the Supreme Lord Vishnu. So for him, all of these good qualities will automatically manifest. On the other side, Harau means Lord Hari. On the other side, Abhaktasya means one who is not a devotee. Kuto Mahadguna, like even though he may have some good qualities here and there, but it is actually on the mental platform. Manoratena ashati dhavata bahi. So outside it may look it's wonderful, nice qualities. They're very clean, they're very devoted, but then without the bhakti, they are just on the mental hovering platform. So today they might become very nice, they might actually show their very nice qualities. Tomorrow they might become angry, and day after tomorrow they might commit some very cruel activities like that. They'll keep changing because they're hovering on the mental platform. But on the other side, devotees who are completely devoted with unalloyed devotion to Vishnu, they'll always constantly will have all the wonderful qualities. So this is the verdict of the Srimad Bhagavatam and Shastras. And there are many, many pastimes to even, to confirm this. And even if we take the example of many acharyas, like even Vedavyas, not Vedavyas, who the sage who compiled Ramayana, right? The sage, I'm forgetting the name. So he was a hunter before also. By chanting the Ram's name, he become completely
Valmiki Muni.
Valmiki Muni. So he was also developed all the wonderful qualities. By becoming a devotee, he had such a transformation that he was able to compile the Lord Rama's pastimes. So like that, there are many, many saints like that, Billu Mangal Thakur, and there's so many saints, wonderful saints. In the past, they were, going through some major troubles in life. They were going through ups and downs. But once they become devotees, all the wonderful qualities are manifested. So that is the first point that we should understand, that Prabhupada also explains. And then the second most important point is, here it says that Acharya Upashanam. So Acharya Upashanam means approaching a bona fide spiritual master. So this is the second most important quality. So once we have this devotion, some faith for Krishna, then we should find out a very pious or very devoted Acharya who can actually guide us in the devotional process. So like Srila Prabhupada, who has no motivation other than just to give Krishna to everyone. So such a person who has no other motivation except to just give bhakti, such a person is called Acharya. His only motivation is to please Krishna. So by guiding others in bhakti, Krishna is pleased. That is their only motivation. So like that, if we can approach a bona fide spiritual master and we can serve that spiritual master, we can ask questions, we can actually ask questions, serve, and become dedicate, we can surrender to that spiritual master. That is the most important quality, that one can actually develop all the other qualities. This is the beginning of the spiritual life. So that's why, like Prabhupada says, transcendental life begins when one accepts a bona fide spiritual master. So I mean, many times I also, when I discuss with others, they ask this question, why should we accept a spiritual master? So the most important thing to understand is the whole process is a loving relationship. In this loving relationship, trust is the first, like between devotee and Krishna, there's so much trust, there's so much love exchange, right? So the main factor in this relationship is service. So in the humble mode of service is so essential to have any loving relationship, even in this material world. In the spiritual world, all of this manifests by the loving relationship between the spiritual master and the disciple. So when the spiritual master and the disciple, there is a relationship. A disciple actually serves the spiritual master, and spiritual master gives the confidential knowledge to the disciple. So there is only the exchange of service and the exchange of knowledge. It's not, there is no remuneration or money involved. There is always some gifts that a disciple might give it to the spiritual master, but that is external. But basically, there is a service, exchange of service, and there is inquiry, and then the spiritual master gives the confidential knowledge. So in this relationship, the only exchange is service and the knowledge back, right? So this is a transcendental relationship. So similarly, when we exchange love between Krishna and devotee and Krishna, there is no remuneration involved. Like in this material world, we give something, we take something. Right? When we do service in the office, we get, at the end of the day, we get salary. But in the transcendental life, there is no salary, or there is no such thing. There is all pure relationships, service back and forth. So in the transcendental world, everything starts with this service without accepting anything in return. So basically, the spiritual master also accepts surrender and service so that he can give this confidential knowledge. So that is why the spiritual life starts with at least a little bit surrender towards the spiritual master, so that we can get that mood of service manifest. And then Krishna also pleased, okay, this devotee wants to serve. Through the spiritual master, he wants to approach me. Then Krishna will reveal everything in the heart. So even there is many verses that says, when we have firm faith in spiritual master, firm faith in Krishna, then automatically everything is revealed in the heart. So because that whole process is that mode of service and the mode of surrender has to manifest, right? So that is what Krishna is also saying. This is the actual process of knowledge. So and then the next point Prabhupada is quoting is the humility, right? So humility in Sanskrit, it's called dainya, the humility. This is one of the most important quality, that if one has humility and one has complete in honesty approaches a spiritual master, then there is every chance that he will be enlightened because he's approaching with humility. Humility, Prabhupada explains, this is simply not expecting any honor for ourselves. So we expect honor because we think we are this body, right? When we actually understand we are not this body, the sages and the elevated devotees, they don't actually expect any honor because they know we are not this body. All the honor goes to the body. Suppose if today I'm looking in this phase and then in this form, I change the form, everything the society recognizes will be gone. So today Trump is called the president of America. Suppose the Trump body is changed, he is not even recognizable. People will not give the same respect they used to give before, right? Whatever respect they are giving for the body. Nobody even knows there is soul inside, there is a spirit soul that can actually transcend the body. It has life beyond this death. So all that knowledge people don't have. So when we understand that we are not the body, then we can actually become humble. So we don't have to hanker after the respect that others give. So this is what exactly Prabhupada is explaining here. And then non-violence is, generally people understand non-violence means killing other animals or, other people. But it goes very subtle than that. Like actually non-violence means we should not put anybody in distress. This is very subtle than gross, right? Gross is just killing, or that subtle is not even giving them trouble. That is really the non-violence. And then even subtle is, Prabhupada is given even subtle meaning that if we are not practicing spiritual knowledge, if we are not elevating ourselves to spiritual knowledge, then we are committing violence against ourselves. We are actually committing violence against ourselves. That is also considered violence. So in order to really practice non-violence, we should practice ourselves, and also we should distribute this knowledge to others. So this is even subtle meaning than the gross meaning. So, and then Prabhupada goes on to explain tolerance and simplicity, cleanliness, and steadfastness. Right. So, tolerance, Prabhupada is giving Prahlad Maharaj as an example. That Prahlad Maharaj has to take so many inconveniences, even from his own father. But he was not only tolerant, but at the same time, he was focusing on Krishna. So this is very important, right? When just by tolerating, we don't get anything. We get all the inconveniences. But by tolerating, we focus on what is more important. That is actually the more important thing. Like there are so many inconveniences that happens in the material world. If we simply tolerate, that is not great. By tolerate, at the same time, we utilize our time for cultivating Krishna consciousness and focusing on what is more important, then actually that tolerance has value. So basically to make advancement in spiritual knowledge. So Brahmana is the best example. If somebody shouts at a Brahmana, they actually say something, he really doesn't care. Because he is so much focused in his cultivation of knowledge, he'll just move on. So he is the best example, right? And then the simplicity, Prabhupada explained, just to be straightforward, So speaking the truth, without any duplicity. That is basically a simplicity. And then he is giving how this can be used in Krishna consciousness. Like we should approach a spiritual master and without any duplicity, with all humility and simplicity, we just approach him and render services. Then naturally the spiritual master will give all the blessings to disciple. So, and then the next two items comes here is cleanliness and steadiness. So cleanliness is many times we see a lot of people have external cleanliness. They keep their body very clean, but then actually internal cleanliness is also very, very important. Actually, internal cleanliness we cannot see, but then external by being externally clean, if person is not internally clean, then he is actually suffering from so many problems. So that is why always thinking of Krishna becomes internally we can become clean. So Krishna is the divine, right? He's pure. He's like a fire. So wherever fire is, it will be completely clean. Similarly, wherever Krishna is, that place will be completely pure and clean. So if we can think of Krishna all the time, then we are completely clean. And the way to think of Krishna all the time is chanting this Hare Krishna mantra, which is given by Lord Krishna himself in the Kali Santarna Upanishad, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu propagated all over the universe. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this not only cleanses our heart from this life, but it cleanses so many lifetimes of karma from the mind. So the mind carries so many impressions from so many lifetimes, it cleanses everything. So the last quality that for today is steadiness, right? So now this steadiness, we can also become very steady and achieve so many things in material world. We can earn a lot of wealth, but actually the steadiness means to be very determined and to make progress in spiritual life. That is the real steadiness. So it takes so much steadiness or so much determination to become successful in the material world, but all that would be just for one life. Again, we have to start again from scratch in the next life. It's basically so much hard work, but we are not getting a real benefit out of it. But if we become determined and steady in spiritual life, whatever we get is permanent. In next life, if we achieve 50%, next life we can start from 51%. It is a permanent wealth. So it's a tangible progress, right? So that is really the steadiness. So that is why Prabhupada is asking, by becoming steady, we can determine to focus all of our senses in Krishna consciousness, because it takes a lot of determination to do that. So if you ask, like one time Prabhupada's Srila Prabhupada's god brothers, they went to England. They wanted to start some temples, cultivate people for Krishna consciousness. So one sannyasi went and asked one person, I will make you a Krishna conscious devotee. Are you willing to do? And then he asked, what should I do? You should just become vegetarian, you should leave drinking, you should, should not gamble, you should become, should not do illicit sex. And then the person said it's impossible. So basically, it requires so much determination to become a devotee, to cultivate devotional service. It all starts with chanting Krishna's name, getting attracted towards Krishna. So that is why it takes more devotion, more determination in the spiritual life rather than achieving something in the material life. So Prabhupada is basically saying that steadiness is the really is by becoming all of our senses steadfasted in Krishna consciousness, that is the real steadiness. So this is the last, I think, last paragraph we discussed devotees. And let's see if there are any thoughts anyone would like to share on this topic.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam, all Guru Srila Prabhupada.
Hare
Prabhuji,
Krishna.
very nicely you explained about all the qualities of a devotee. So Prabhuji, just I would like to, already you discussed, I would like to add this ahimsa, how Prabhupada in the purport explained about this non-violence or ahimsa, that I heard from senior devotees. They say that devotees, regular people, they are poro shukhe dukhi. It's a this proverb they use. Regular people, they are poro shukhe dukhi, but a devotee is paradukhe dukhi. Means if in this material world people are suffering, and with that suffering, as in the perspective of a devotee, he always like unhappy when they see this, as Prabhupada explained, and you also told about that, that they try to take them to the Krishna consciousness, try to preach to those people who are not in this path of Krishna consciousness, and for them it's their life is miserable. Maybe they're thinking that it's this is the real happiness, but it's very temporary. Whatever the material opulences or whatever they have, but when they're in the Krishna consciousness movement or in the path of Krishna consciousness, that way they can get that real happiness in life. And that's why devotees are always eager to give this Krishna consciousness to the general people and make them real happy. And that is Prabhupada is saying, that is actually ahimsa. So that's the duty of a devotee, which is very nicely you explained also, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Vashwati Mataji. Very nice point. I really liked it. So yeah, paradukhi dukhi, right? So yeah. So because the others are suffering, if he is not giving the knowledge, that is also considered violence. Yeah. Any other thoughts anyone else would like to share, devotees?
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Shall I tell some regarding, just now you have described very nicely regarding Valmiki Maharshi. Valmiki Maharshi was, previous name is Ratnakara. Ratnakarudu. Ratnakarudu was killing and looting the money from the people, which I don't know. Then they, at that time, Nardamuni has approached him. We are doing very lots of mistakes and miseries. You are giving trouble to all of the people. So he described that you go and ask your family members, are they going to share your, what is that, Papa? Biti. So he went and approached their mother and wife and children. He asked, you are going to share my, what is that, Prabhuji? Mistakes. So they said that,
Since,
Mataji?
since,
Yes,
correct.
since. Sorry, Prabhuji, I could not get. I'm having a throat infection and also my health is not well. So, my sin are you going to take? They said that we will not take your sins to me because it is duty to protect me and give food to our family. That is your fundamental duty. So he got realization. Then he went and Narada and he told that I have done mistakes. They are not going to take responsibility from my sins. So immediately he became devotee after Narada Muni's advice. He don't know how to speak with Rama. So he said, Mara, 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 Marama. So I got previous this one, Prabhuji. So I want to share with you, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you very much for sharing that. Yeah. Devotees, anyone else would like to share anything?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Then, yeah, wonderfully explained, Prabhuji. As Prabhuji was saying, you mentioned about Kali Santara Upanishad, and where only having this mantra can purify the whole world. Oh, sorry, Prabhuji. I think Mataji has a question. Maybe you can take.
You can finish, Subal Prabhuji, your thoughts. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji, as Mataji also mentioned wonderfully, only by chanting and the steadiness and the qualities of a devotee is based on how they lead their life. So basically having Krishna consciousness in the center, it will automatically, improve their Krishna consciousness. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dara Mataji, you have a question?
Preeti Mataji.
Mataji.
Question, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Actually, I know Krishna by his like visiting the Udupi. That is where like my love towards him has increased. So after Udupi, like everything, like I get to know him, and I go to ISKCON also to see Krishna. But I do not know anything like you guys saying, right? Like in the starting, you have some kind of follow some rules to say all these things. I'm not aware of it. And I have started with I haven't started with Bhagavad Gita or like the Srimad Bhagavatam, but I I purchased a book for my friend, like a Bhakti Yoga, but somehow I didn't give it to her, and I started reading it. So when I started reading it, it was like saying like I should have a spiritual master. So since then, the book like Srila Rupa Goswami would have written, right? So I do not know who I have to contact and how I should reach out. Like, where can I find my spiritual master who can guide me in everything? And this is one question. And my second question is that I do have a kind of a thought or like the talks that I usually have a kind of a connection with Krishna. I talk to him. I have my, I don't follow rules actually speaking, but I have my own way of showing my love towards him. Uh, but like me sitting at one place looking at Krishna is like I can do it. And also me like talking to Krishna about my family or like just making fun or talks, this I can do. But when it comes to Hare Krishna mantra, like I can do like one round with the concentration, but after that I don't know, I don't get that feel like I'm doing it. But like everyone would, like my brother who is in a Krishna consciousness, he would say like you should at least do 8 rounds. but I do not know. I'm not getting that a kind of vibe which I get it when I see Krishna in the temple, or like when I talk to Krishna, that vibe. But I do not know. I'm feeling I'm forcing myself to do it, but I'm not doing it like with so much joy or enjoyment. I can do it one round like that, but not more than that. And after that, I feel like um I don't know, maybe like boring or like something I'm like diverted. So could you guys help me in this process, like where I'm going wrong or like what I could do better, and like how can I find the spiritual master? I I have too much love towards my Krishna, and I wanted to every time I wanna make it like best and showcase myself um like my love towards him. Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Understood. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for sharing those questions. So, do you live in this neighborhood, Mataji, Tampa neighborhood, or
Yeah, Tampa. Yes.
are you in north of Tampa or south?
I'm not sure. Near the USF, yeah, south, I guess.
Oh, okay, okay. Have you attended any of our Bhakti Riksha classes?
No, actually, I went to Sanatan Dharma temple on January 1, and
Uh-huh.
Subala, that Prabhuji has,
Oh, okay,
and
okay.
and I saw them doing, and I got the Bhagavad Gita, and then, like, just they asked me, like, there is a group. So
Oh,
I went to ISKCON here in Tampa, but that was like organized by some other people. Somehow, like, I was not. It was like little bit far, and I was not really able to connect with it.
okay, okay. Very nice, Mataji. I think what the questions you asked are very deep questions. So you are in the right Sangha. So right now we have, this is online, but we have offline classes where we hold in a home program. So that time you can come and connect with devotees, and we can actually guide you. So the first question you asked, spiritual master, the Srila Prabhupada, the Bhagavad Gita that you got, it was written by Srila Prabhupada, who is a Siksha Guru who is teaching you all this knowledge. So he is the first guru. When you read the knowledge, your gratitude goes to Srila Prabhupada, and that way you are connecting to a Siksha Guru. And
Mhm.
through Srila Prabhupada, there are many Srila Prabhupada disciples who are also preaching and spreading this knowledge. So you can connect to one of them and you can become, they can actually become your spiritual master when you get really connected with Srila Prabhupada. And that time, naturally, Krishna will guide you. So at this time, you can try to read Bhagavad Gita and understand more Bhagavad Gita knowledge. And then naturally, Krishna will actually guide you towards how to accept a spiritual master. And the second point, you said your brother is already a devotee in ISKCON, right?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So naturally, you're connected to Krishna through your brother also. Chanting, you don't have to force yourself. But chanting is also when you see Krishna in the temple, chanting is non-different. Ideally, chanting includes seeing Krishna, experiencing Krishna's qualities. It has everything in it. But if you feel that you're forcing yourself, then you can chant number of, like some fixed number of rounds that you're able to chant, like 2 rounds, 3 rounds, whatever you're able to do it without forcing yourself is fine. Then naturally, when you want to increase, you can increase the number of rounds. That way, you when you when you see Krishna in the temple face to face, how long can you actually see? Like, can you see like 10 minutes, 20 minutes? How long can you see?
Uh, like I can sit there and watch him like for 30 minutes.
30 minutes, right? So when devotees chant sometimes many hours also. They can focus on Krishna. They can experience his name, right? His name is non-different from Krishna. So when you have such kind of attention, like, because chanting is much more intense than seeing. Like, chanting involves your mind have to focus. Of course, seeing Krishna's deity form is also, mind is involved, eyes are involved. When you chant, your thoughts, you have to pronounce the name, hear the name, and you have to bring the mind whatever it is thinking back to the name. So there are three things involved. It's much more intense. It's like a meditation, right? It's like a mantra meditation. So that is why it's more difficult than engaging in the temple, seeing the Murti. So it, in a way, it's much more purifying. So it is naturally, it is difficult.
Understood.
Yeah. So you can chant the number of rounds that you're able to, and gradually increase. That is fine, Mataji.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Yeah. Please join some of our Bhakti Vrikshas, so that way we can connect. You can connect with devotees and we can gradually help you how to systematically read Bhagavad Gita and all that.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. In the interest of time, I just took few minutes to explain, but we can always guide you in person sometimes. Right. Thank you, devotees. I think it's already 9:08. We'll conclude today's session. So thank you very much for joining today's session. Vancha kalpatrubhyasya kripa sindhu vyayevachah patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Grantaraj Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Dandot
Krishna,
Pranam,
Dandot Pranam.
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji ki jai.
Dandavad Pranam.
Jai.